a judge had to be educated on what really happened. And I believe that she's being educated, and I believe that she's reacting to that. And that's why I'm talking here to you right now. And that's why I believe that this case will be dismissed, or we will get an acquittal.
Now, what's been the impact on your family, your livelihood, and if there is mistrial or dismissal, what are your plans?
Well, the impact has been great and terrible, or terribly great, because we have grown tremendously from this. But yet, I look back at the pain and the suffering that we've gone through, and I almost cringe today just thinking about it, because of, I could never explain. But yet we've grown, and as long as we don't get bitter, and as long as we don't get hard, we'll be okay. We'll be able to, we'll be able to survive and be better at the end. And it doesn't matter, the financial situation with my business and all of that being attacked, and with just everything, it doesn't matter. We'll be fine. We'll make it, and we'll be better for it.
How have you grown?
Well, I'm not so tender, if you will. I've run out of tears, but I don't feel like I'm hard, though. I don't feel like I'm bitter or mad at people. I'm not bitter even at the Bureau of Land Management. I'm not bitter at the prosecutors or the judge, because I know that the right will be brought forth, and I know it'll be okay for it. And I've also seen my children and my wife grow. That they're more determined on what is right, more determined on standing for what is right. They're more determined to stand for their neighbor and to understand God and what He asked of us. And so those are all great blessings because of this. I saw some of the same buildings that I saw, but before I left, every time I left, it was just I could see them through the mesh screens of the metal and the little bit of windows that we do have. And I was always in leg irons, belly chains, handcuffs with a black box, and usually packed in like a paddy wagon with more people than there are seats. And it was amazing, the difference of leaving with my wife, being able to not be constrained, being able to look out the window, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to go through that.
Did you expect the judge to release you?
Actually, no, not at that time. Well, I could say that I had some indications of just more, more spiritually, I guess, kind of preparing. My wife was coming down, and I had the thought a couple times about being released while she was here, because we weren't planning on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, that'll never happen, but that thought continued to come to me a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of rejected that thought, but then that's what happened. And so I can't say that I knew, but I also believe that I was a little bit prepared.
And what do you think of the material that was recently shared with defense regarding this whistleblower and other material, which I'm probably not privy to, but
yeah, there's a lot.
And the judge's concerns about Brady violations.
Well, I think that they're a huge concern, but they should be a huge concern for everybody. That those in government are acting that way, willing to act that way, and that if we're just seeing a little piece of it, it's kind of like teenagers kissing in public. If they're willing to kiss in public, what are they willing to do in private? And that's just, we know that that's what's going on. So we all should be concerned that our people in government would feel so comfortable to be acting that way, especially during a trial, especially when people's lives are possibly going to be affected for the rest of their lives. And what I mean by the incarceration, and especially when lives have been lost.
And what do you think of the whistleblower's allegations? I mean, that the BLM was heavy-handed under Dan Love, and that they withheld information?
We have known it for a long, long time. We lived it, and also we've been locked away for the last 2 years with the discovery that's been sealed. And we have done our due diligence going through every file, trying to understand every video, every body cam, every dash cam. And we have understood that this has been going on, but we haven't been able to tell the public. And so the fact that it has come out with these facts don't surprise us at all. And I could say this, there is a lot more that the public does not know and that the public should know. Because...
Like what?
Well, I can't tell you. Otherwise, I would have told you two years ago or a year and a half ago. It's because it's sealed. And out of respect and a desire to be free, and honestly, out of the force of the court putting a gun to our head, we can't say those things yet. But the people should continue to push and to have these things exposed, because otherwise, how do you hold government accountable?
So how were you able to get through the incarceration for nearly 2 years away from your family? And I don't know if you were thinking that, there was a possibility you could remain there for decades.
Yeah. At first I was facing, I think it was a little over 100 years minimum sentence. And then we were able to get one of the 924C charges removed, which put us down to, I believe, 68 years minimum sentence, which would make it to I'm 102 or something years old. I don't do the math, but it's something to that effect. And I've got a young little family. I've tried to do the best I can at raising them, and I was tremendously sad and disheartened about the whole situation, and I could tell you that there was times at the very beginning that I almost went into despair over it, that it was very difficult to think of the possibility of not being with my family, ever in this life again. But I will say this, and it really doesn't matter too much how you believe, but I experienced some things that let me know that I would be free again. And they came from a greater source than what we have here. And because of that, I knew and had confidence that I would be home with my family again. And I also began to understand that this case was going to be an instrument in bringing forth truth and exposing the corruption of what the government is doing to not only us and not only to the agricultural community, but to the people in general. And so I actually have hung on to that, and has given me enough hope and enough understanding to get through these very, very difficult times.
And what about your dad's choice to stay incarcerated, even when he was allowed to be released? What do you think of that?
I fully 100% understand it and support him in it. If I did not feel that I was supposed to leave myself, I would have done that, the same thing, because to live out here, to be restricted, we're not in any way free. I'm actually going right now, putting a motion with the court, just so that I can have time with my family when they come down here. And I wear a GPS, so they know where I'm at all the time. I've been restricted from being able to defend myself. And I think my father wanted to be an example. This wasn't the only thing, but I think he wanted to be an example of what you're supposed to do when these things are faced. And I don't think he wanted to come out and be an example of how to be a prisoner in his own home.
Did you consider doing that?
Absolutely, I did.
And what changed your mind?
Again, I told you a little bit about the beginning, some of those thoughts I had, and a few other experiences that I had that just helped me to be confident that I was supposed to come out and do what good I could out here while I was a little more free.
And what do you expect now, or what are you hoping the judge decides this week?
I hope that she does what she should have done 2 years ago, which is when this case was brought to her, she should have dismissed it at that time.